But I mean, that's the problem with this in general, is if you want a good shot, you're probably going to be pretty goddamn open. Same, and besides that, just fucking hammer in one spot. As much as that sounds ridiculous, if all you do is hammer that fucking same spot, just fucking over and over, they're gonna start weakening and diminishing. You're gonna get your shot. It blows a lot of them up. But if you're trying to kill that one fucking guy in particular, just fucking hammer. Because he's gonna want to try to counter that. When you're blocking like this, and you're trying to counter it, you leave yourself open. So if you just fucking keep hammering that shit, you do eventually just ads are a little bit different. Like you can do a lot more bullshit with them. We're just gonna take this like basically where if I'm gonna block with a saber, I'll let you knock it out of my way, and I'll use that force to roll it right back in. And it, we gotta spread a little bit so and then I'm hitting somebody in the fucking face. Like I didn't put anything into it. That was just the force of rolling it around. Does that make sense? So if you don't try to stop it, so if I add my own force into it, all of a sudden I got a fucking fast shot coming at me. Does that make sense? So, yeah. So I mean, just I don't know how to do this exactly. We can divide up and try some different shit, but I mean that's one dump. The other dump is the other direction. This is a little harder, but you can do this way. You know what I mean? So if you come down on me, just do it slow. So if you're gonna block and that guy's coming down, if you can go here, let him take it, and you can steal it that way. Anytime you can add a step into a shot, you're gonna have more power. So if I'm you can like hold it out, I'm gonna bat it. So if you have your shot, you can add a step into it, you get a lot more force out of that. So with whatever shot you can do, if you add that power in, I want to say karate is the same thing, like the stomp with the hit sort of thing. And is there, I mean, I don't know if there's any science behind it, but they say as well, like expelling air is the same thing as like weightlifting. When you're trying to push that weight up, you push out.
It contracts the core. Yeah. And it also contracts the chain motion.
I'll be quite something on this. Right. I'll be quite, I mean, I've never done martial arts. Never have. Like, a lot of them do it with like the fucking, you know, sort of thing, because they can push it out. I fucking forget. Every fucking time I fight, I forget. I've been fighting for 13 fucking years, and I'm still not breathing. Really wish I would. But I fucking run, I fucking breathe. And then I'm sucking air, and I'm like, God, where can I fucking breathe? And the army is the same fucking way. The army, the whole point of singing cadence is to force your fucking ass to breathe. So you're not trying to hold your breath while you're fucking running. So I mean, that's the point behind that shit. And I mean, when enough people do the same goddamn thing because they seem to think it's fucking important, I buy into it. So maybe there's something to it. Maybe you should try it. So expelling fucking air out of your lungs while you make your strike is probably a good fucking idea. Try it.
I've actually done science experiments and shown that if you expel the air, it tightens the muscles, and you can get anywhere from 15 to 20% more force out of a shot whenever you're doing it.
You would kill people. Don't breathe.
Yeah, we'll keep you not breathing.
Now that I know it actually does something, I'm gonna buy into it more and try harder on it. The other big thing is like I'm not a fucking one-on-one guy. All right, I'm not. Everything I do is I don't fucking like one-on-ones. So I mean, a big thing with a two-hander because everybody in the fucking SCA is headhunters. Every goddamn one of them. I go for knives. I mean, it's a hell of a fucking good thing. And when someone's got a shield, they're used to dropping to stop that rap shot. When you've got a two-hander, you know, going for a headshot and then dropping low for that thigh, and then just defending out, man, you just left them such a fucking anger. That dude's got two options. Spend the rest of the battle sitting there like, fucking please kill me, God. Or he's got to start fucking inching his way out in the line, or just give up and walk away. You know what I mean? My thought, what I've always wanted to do, and this is why I want to break us up into clans. Eventually, I want clans fighting with clans, right? So units will be the clans. You guys spend more time practicing with each other than you ever do with the rest of the fucking group. And inside that clan, if we can have people that work together, it's fucking amazing. Me and Primal together, we have fought for so fucking long together, we can work a line like nobody's business. I usually had a mace or a two-hander, and he's usually had a nag or a spear. Two of us, we know exactly what each other's doing. We're fucking hearing the whole time. Because that's one of those things, is, give me some more. Is if we're gonna go, if I'm gonna come after this guy, you stay back where the line is, right? So, about right there's the line. If you're back here, as I come in, because I'm gonna take out this guy, all I need is a shield. Don't expose yourself, just give me that shield. So when you come in, and I'm blocking, and he's got his up, he's blocking, and we just go back out. So if you have somebody, like the two of you guys are both doing two-handers, if you two guys work together against fucking Scott, you work together against everybody you're fighting, pretty fucking sweet. And you get used to that. You've got height differences. You know, you've got size differences. People are different and better at certain things. So if you've got somebody, and our goal is I'm going to deliver the punch, and he's going to take the weapons out. Or, let's say height reasons, I'm going to stop block high shit, and he's going to go low. So back up a little bit. So if you're coming in to swing, and my whole goal is to stop, and what I want is I want it in that cross guard, because when you grab somebody in that cross guard, that's the point. If I can sit here and pin his fucking weapon, however the fuck I'm going to do it, if I can at least stop him, and his goal is to fight right off my side going low, we can work pretty good. And if I'm going this way out and blocking, and he's got that side blocked, we can cover each other pretty good. And that's just two two-handers. If I had a shield, if I had a spear, mags, there's all kinds of relationships. It doesn't matter which fucking weapon it is. Alright, catch up real quick. Hop in. Don't do that shit. So basically, the big fundamental that I'm trying to get across here is these shots are what everybody's used to. That's the easy shots. Don't go for these. Go for the fucking weird shit. Get good at the weird shit because people aren't expecting it. So, weird. That's funny. So, one of those things I like is going for a thrust, right? Because from there, I'm going to come across. Because I'm thinking of thrust, I plan on missing it so I can hit meat. And then on my way out. What the fuck else did I talk about? And just hammer it through. Like, if you take one spot and just keep fucking hammering, and you will eventually get through. If there's one person you're trying to fuck the life out of and hit one goddamn spot without changing, eventually he's going to try to counter. And when he does, ba-bam. Or you're going to wear him out. And then we were just talking about working together. So, yeah, that was pretty much what I covered, right?
Deflecting.
Oh, yeah. So come down with like one of those like woodcutter straight down sort of things. You know what I mean? So instead of stopping,
Yeah.
right, if you come across and dump, so swing down with the intention.
And then it comes straight over my head.
Right. When you do it the offside, I'm fucking tight as shit, but you can dump it. Like,
You didn't have to.
You're towards the back, PK.
yeah.
It goes straight down and you go right back over.
Right.
Okay.
And then we're just talking about like working together. So if so you're gonna take it, go on the other side of me, just make it super easy. So you're if you've got someone to work with and someone you're gonna fight with, regardless of what weapon type, you gotta figure that out. But if you've got someone you can mirror with, if my job is to stop the high shit, your job is to take out legs, right? So he comes in, that opens you and see how much further back you would be. So you're not even exposed to really spear me. I'm the only one with my ass out. So I'm blocking him, and then I'm just drawing back the fuck out because he's dead. He got his leg. So we're back. Legging people is worth its weight in gold.
Am I allowed to touch my butt side? Or
Yeah.
does my hand have to be above it?
Touch your butt. Yeah. Of course you can. My bad.
Hydra, do you need to spray your back?
It's great. That's what it's working on. That's what we're working on. Catch that.
One thing we didn't go over in the team fight tactics thing, you didn't mention anything about hooks.
Oops. I mean, you got your own way of getting a man. I don't get my man that way. I can't do the baby anchor, so.
Yeah, I was throwing hooks. Where's Rage?
Underneath the hook still? Like when she moves her hook up.
Up and the blades go underneath it.
I mean, if you want it to look like it's retarded,
It'd be easier to hook shield.
it would be. It definitely would be.
But I didn't know if I could have a blade underneath.
I mean, there's no rules on blade placement on hooks or anything like
Wild's hook has a blade on it.
The other thing is, do you have multiple hooks on your thing?
that. I mean, yeah. I mean, if
Like
there
have
was,
one down here, like one all the way up here?
I mean, you can. It's
a lot of weight.
There's a reason why they do it.
More unwieldy.
and also like if you stick your nag out to me, if you're trying to poke out lines and shit like that, and you get up to the point where I can take your fucking hook, we're going to Eisenberg.
We're going to Hudson.
Shut up, Kinley!
And he could, if you had a hook on the end there, he could do that from a further distance away too.
Right. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'll grab shit. Right. And it's also when it's further out. When it's further out, it's leverage. So if you try this, put your sword up, like right here, man, I can control it like crazy. Out here, it's a lot harder to control. So the further that goes out, the harder it is you're gonna do anything with it. You know? I would take that fucking one-handed hammer I have, that hammerhead, put it on a fucking 7.5 foot stick. That's what I would use if you want to fuck. Because that bitch will be right up there at the top.
And it's gonna grip shit.
It is.
It's not a little. It's gonna be.
I already know the website, probably found it.
Woodensword.com.
Wooden sword, purple heart on there.
Yeah.
See, I'm gonna buy it because we're 10, but I like to look at my things before I buy it. Like, I like to keep it at the stack. I'm that bitch.
The stack's in the fucking trailer. Wine more.
Girl, I shop!
Well, shop what's in the back of his truck. He's even got some candy in there for you. The other big thing is when somebody charges in, when people are charging in, the thing that everybody forgets is the reason I got this big ass handguard. I love that one. is this a block? As soon as someone's coming in, there's a lot more force right here. I got busted. You know? And I'll definitely fucking ride that bitch in the collar. The other thing I do is my tape is pretty fucked, but you can see there's black. Well, there used to be tape here, and see how the black tape stops? I don't put any tape. If you look at claymores and shit, because I'm gonna from here I can swing across and do some pretty neat shit, especially when there's a line. Because all of a sudden I'm coming over top like this. You know what I mean? Or if you're trying to go under people, because you're of the shorter persuasion.
I'm downhill.
And that's what's also nice about a nag. Is all of a sudden someone's charging in, you go, whoop. Because now all of a sudden you've got this little pokey, and you can hit with it like a saber almost. People are behind you, you gotta make sure you're not binding up and doing that sort of bullshit and tripping them. But I mean, that's the one thing I like about a nag is just that constant. Like I treat more like a Chinese spear. So with nags, I instantly go to like spear fighting. With a two-hander, I'd be like this. With nags, I love it because for me, it's all about throwing in.
Yeah. Yeah, that floppy slurpy thing.
It works for me.
It's like a dildo with extra layers.
You got your hands on Little John's dildo.
So I mean, the whole thing with that is I mean, I like more of the spear aspect of it, where you're coming in, you're throwing those jabs, then you're hitting. You know what I mean? And then as soon as somebody caves, you can come in and change totally to a different fighting style with it, do it more like a two-hander. But nags are different animals.
Can't you do that with a two-hander anyway? That's not a nag?
What?
No, way it's longer.
So that nag had a lot of weight on this. Most nags.
Yeah, mine way up this.
You're not really supposed to grip out the blade.
Yeah.
No, you're not. You're not supposed to touch the blade.
So you can have sword, but it can't be a nag.
Oh, that means my shot.
I mean, there's situational difference between each other, between them. Besides that, a big thing about fighting in general, whether it's two-handers, one-handers, or whatever, whoever I beat on. Is when you put your guard up, however you're going to. You're going to do it like 8 different ways. So just do it one way, okay? So the whole thing is every guard for the most part has a disadvantage. You got to figure out what that is. So if she's going to let me just put my stick somewhere over here without changing, I'm going to come right down the fucking side of that and take that fucking out. So like, sometimes when people start winging me, I'll tuck it in all kinds of bullshit. But now all of a sudden I don't have a lot of range until I start like doing strikes. You know what I mean?
This is it right here.
I can attest to all
What the
these
fuck?
sleep.
Never do that. That's an inch for break. What the fuck? Let me see that.
Profile's so
Alright,
narrow.
Wait, we need it for the camera. Come in the middle, Hydra.
It won't work for anybody else, but.
I'd like to see you do that on a line just to see, like,
Just see my elbows both break.
No, so when someone hits you, you go like that, and you go, oh! Oh God! Oh God! Oh God! And then the charge happens.
Yeah, then you hit him.
Is if you have just a perfect guard, right? Where you are fucking aimed up, you are tucked in, and you are just fucking beautiful, right? You're not giving your opponent anything you can guarantee where they're coming from. If you throw out a left arm, right? All of a sudden there's a nice target. You're giving them somewhere where they know where to go. Now listen, something it's something that I never do is give my opponent something. It's something I'm working on. I got you give them a weak spot that you're really good at defending. And I mean, the guy who brought me in, he always fought like this. Right? And as soon as somebody would go for that leg, it would go up, and he would come down. It was like, come on, dude. So what I did was I would go to swing, and then I would bum rush. And he didn't like it. But I agree, because most SCA are not going to do that. Most of them are going to see that leg, and they're going to be like intently staring at face and go, ha, fuck. So if you consciously give them a bait, whatever it is, whether it's changing your stance, like, you know, and shit, same guy used to do this shit all the time. Because it works. And I've seen him on I've seen him on a line. Somebody came in, and they were coming straight down on him, and they were trying to hit there, and he literally put his hand up and it went boom, and I was like, no, that's dirty. Hey, he was a tricky motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's where I got it. I mean, everything I learned was how to get around shit. And I can't say enough, when we go through all the situational stuff,
Bronson,
like putting me
get out of that fire pit.
you know,
Don't let me catch
or
you.
you're just trying to
Understand?
figure out where you're going to go inside that car that's going to be at least to protect you. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, you got to think about the opposite side. Sometimes people are trying to give you an opening so they know they can stop it. The other big thing is we all love to smash shit, and we forget that there's more than one way. When you go, you draw, you're open to that fucking thrust. We have thrust in this, and we all forget to fucking use it.
Hulk smash.
I'm all for us.
Yes.
Coming with the front, you come with your travel, you just step to the front. So now that's sort of a way you don't even move your arm, you just use your whole body. And then it goes from the way to what you press with your arms to the way your body.
And I'll tell you again, the guy who trained me, he fought with a spear, not like everybody fights with a spear. He fought with a spear like this. And the reason he did is he wanted more control to bat people out of the way, and he wasn't worried about his power. Everyone goes like this with a spear because they want as much power as possible. Well, most of the time you're only popping people in the nose anyway. So why not have your control on the front of your spear? So that way when somebody's going, you have a lot more press and control over that weapon snake. You know what I mean? I like that. And I do the opposite with a nag, which, I don't know, maybe I should. I like it. I like having left hand on a nag.
You say hop and forward or
Yeah, with a nag, I put my dominant hand on the nag.
That's how Wild fights. Put the dominant hand on the front. You guys fight opposite. One of y'all puts, yeah, he's power, he's speed.
Where's he?
With the right hand in the front.
Well, that's like a two-hander.
That's the other way.
You're right-handed, right? It's more like a spear. That's what I do.
Yeah.
But the big thing is, and something again, I'm gonna keep man-hugging on Keith. Something he does that I like a lot with all of his people is offense. He's constantly training offense. You know, as much work as you guys are doing pretty much on-hand, they're doing offense. They're doing every weapon style up the door. Every one of the two people are just circulating around the fucking weapon, dominant hand, offhand, working on it, drilling it, which is nice because it makes a difference. And I can fight with my left. Me and him have sparred. We love switching fucking from left to right practicing. It's fucking great. It's hard to find people that can do that. Some people can, but it's worth practicing, and you'll get better at it. Because anything we do, you can get better at. At least fucking competent. I mean, we should all be able to be competent in everything. And for us being able to sell ourselves where they're like, well, what do you have? Well, what do you want? Well, I mean, seriously, yeah, what do you want? My guys do everything. What? Yeah. Want nags, two-handers, shield, spears. I can have all fucking sandies. I can have all fucking nags. I can have all fucking 7.5 foot two-handers. All spears. What do you want? You know, I've even got some dudes that go both ways. You want some archers? That was the thing.
I love how you're staring right into my eyes.
Oh, and the pivot point, the reason I like this band is because we're living a big one. When someone hits, however, when someone hits, if you get into one of these sort of things, because people like to do that fucking movie, like standoff shit, I don't know why. If you can drop for a second and switch up, if you're on top of that pivot, you have complete under control of it. If you were close to that pivot, you still have more power than the other person, because it's how close is your hand to the connection point. You know what I mean? So if you swing in and you're there, right? If you're somewhere close to that, there's nothing they can do to stop it. You know, it's leverage. I'm a big fan of that. Anyway, and again, you've got this. The other big thing with that bind, because you always see that fucking bind, however it is. You always see that bind. Those cross guards are nice because you can use them to control a little bit if you know where they're at. But as well, you're going to keep it here. So you can control where that weapon is on that sword. You know what I mean? So it gives you a nice place to pivot around and change where he is. Because all you got to do is get on the inside. Whatever it is with a fucking two-hander, however someone's stance is, if you hold it up, if I'm on this side of his weapon, you know, fucking thing you can do for the most part. Yeah, pretty much control everybody. Right, you can do the offhand hit. And that's one of those things. Basically, with what I like with two-handers is this is more or less your anchor. And all of your strength comes out of this hand. So if you're trying to do, if I swing, I'm coming here, and then I got plenty of power to come back. You know what I mean? And if I want to come back, this arm's staying the same. You know what I mean? This is what's giving me everything. And if you hold that out, I'm going to hit it. So this is just my offhand. I'm trying not to use my top hand at all. And backwards. You know what I mean? With that leverage, you actually got quite a bit. Alright. Got anything? Tough shit, hop in.
Someone get a picture of Seamus' fucking model over there.
Yeah. Drawing him like one of your French girls.
But when you don't have Captain Morgan, there's regretful shit.
So one of the biggest things I would stress is if there's a weapon set that keeps killing you or that you don't know how to beat it, I strongly suggest using that weapon set for the next couple of practices. Because anyone can teach you trick shots or openings or holes that weapon set may have, but the fastest way to learn that is to actually use that weapon set. That way you can see those holes firsthand. You can see what everyone else is giving you hell at, and then you can exploit those weapon sets and those holes. So that was the main thing I wanted to cover. And that's why we stress, specifically with my guys, that they not only fight with every weapon set, but they fight offhand. Because the goal isn't to be really good at one thing, it's to be a well-rounded fighter. So that once you get to a point where there's someone who does focus on just one thing, or just one hand, or just one side of their body, then you can change it up, and you can really figure out what fucks with that person the most, and you can capitalize on making everything as difficult for them as possible. And if you've already practiced it, if you've already put in the time, you're already comfortable, you're already doing, like it's just another training day for you. And now they're having to, on the fly, refigure out how to fight.
Yeah. Well, I think with that as well, like what you first were saying is if you fight with a different weapon, you're not only going to have the advantage of the way you usually take advantage of somebody in that type of weapon. So if you've got a two-hander guy and you're used to sword and board and you're used to, okay, if I can just catch that tip, I'm going to run up and do it. If you switch to nag all of a sudden and he's got a shield, you're like, wait, I know he's going to fucking bat and run. How am I going to get away from that? Like, how am I going to change that? So it's going to help you on both sides. Fighting with that two-hander as well as what you really like to fight with against a two-hander. And they both will help each other. So jumping from every weapon style is important. We stress single weapon because it sucks the most. It's fucking hard. You got no defense, you got no extra leverage, you've got no reach, you've got no fucking big long stabby tip that's fucking 9 foot in front of you. It just sucks. Yeah.
And it also transfers to everything.
It does.
Like, you pick up a two-hander and you gotta throw your shot. You throw your shot like you're throwing the saber. Like this is your power. You know what I'm saying? Everything else, it's exactly the same motion as if it's a single saber. You just have this to generate the power and the pivot.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's it. It transfers to everything as well as it makes everything fucking difficult. And it makes your work more hard. And use those same shots. If you've got a set shot you do with a saber and you want to translate it to another type of weapon, it's not fucking hard. Figuring out how to make it work. Having somebody who also does two-hander, and if everybody's doing everything, having people all of a sudden to be able to spar with is fucking easy. Because you go to your practice and you're like, hey, can we work on two-handers today? Okay, I'm gonna break that fucking two-hander. Can we work on sword and board? I'd like to fight somebody, you know?